So we got Payton Taylor live on Skype now. So we're gonna start the interview again, Payton. Just let's go fresh and let's just get it started and go right through it from the beginning with hopefully no delays.
All
All right, Payton. So let's get this underway here.
Okay.
So I guess talk about how you got started in music.
All right, well, I started music. I've been singing really for as long as I can really remember, but it wasn't until I was 12 I met my vocal coach at a vocal recital, and we had been working for the longest time, and we both had the opportunity to go to Nashville with the choir group I was with. And when we went on that trip, I just fell in love with the culture and the people, and the music especially. And when we got back home, we decided that we really wanted to try some country, so we worked hard, and now we're here in Nashville 4 years later.
Again, let's talk really quickly about your influences in country music, and I guess what artists really inspire you as a musician.
Alrighty. I mean, I really have a lot of influences. I listen to everything, but if I had pick my biggest influence, it would have to be the players and the musicians and the songwriters down here in Nashville. There's so many, and everywhere you go, there's music, so you can't help but go around to the clubs down here and just feel inspired and in all of these people and want to make yourself a better musician. So definitely the players and the songwriters down here really inspire me.
You played at Summerfest in Milwaukee, which is a big deal and a big show. Talk about that performance for you and
It is.
And what that was like.
That was a crazy performance. We were in New Jersey at the time, doing some shows, and we had to go right from New Jersey to Wisconsin and then back to New Jersey, within a 48-hour period. So it was like 20 hours out to Milwaukee. Played the gig. We got in at 5 in the morning. We had to play at like 2 that day. Packed up and then went home the next day. So it was really a whirlwind. I wish I could have really remembered more of it, but because it went so fast. But we saw Hunter Hayes while we were there, and he was incredible, and the performance went great, and I had a great time with my band.
Talk about your album Shine, which I guess what were some of the challenges in coming up with an album like that?
Probably the biggest challenge with that was my first project, and I really wasn't too sure of what to expect in the studio. So when I went into the studio for the first time, they put me in front of a mic and said, "All right, sing." And I mean, I was pretty nervous going into it, and I probably had a nervous breakdown in the vocal booth. Luckily, my guitar player was there, and he was like, "It's okay, calm down, we're all good." So that was definitely a huge challenge, but I'm really proud of how that came out. It's been about 2 years since that has been released, so I'm definitely ready to get something new out there, something fresh.
Which is actually going to lead into my next question here, which is you actually do have a new album which you're sort of working on and working towards releasing. What have you learned from creating your first album that you've taken into creating your second album?
I've definitely learned how to become a better studio singer, but the last project and this project are definitely very, very different. This project coming up that we're working on right now, actually, it'll be the first project that I wrote all songs on the CD. On the last CD, I only wrote 1 track. I'll be writing all 6 tracks on the CD. So it's a lot more personal, I feel like, because all the songs were written by myself. It's a lot different of an experience, and I'm really excited. We're spending so much time on each little detail. We're working with an amazing producer, Lynn Nichols. He worked with the band Perry, Amy Grant, Switchfoot, and he's so amazing. So I'm learning so much from this process this time around. So more.
What kind of things are you learning from him as he's working with you?
Oh, well, everything. We like a production. Like we'll spend 2 hours just working on getting the tone out of just one guitar and just doing one pass through. He's such a perfectionist, and I'm learning so much about the recording process and the songwriting process by working on my songs.
2009 was really a big year for you. You sort of you mentioned earlier that you realized that this is sort of the time where you realize you're going to become a musician. I guess talk about the year 2009 and I guess what it's meant for you as a musician.
Well, that year, I mean, it was a huge transition. I had I guess the beginning of that year, I definitely planned that I was going to go to New York and I was going to do something in theater, and I really am not too great of a dancer, so I wasn't really sure if New York was for me to begin with, but it just took that one trip to Nashville in August that I decided that that's where I wanted to be. So I spent a couple years really refining my craft and doing my homework on different writers and musicians and performers, and I'm so happy that I had the experience with such amazing people to learn what it means to be a musician down here. And through all that hard work, we're here today.
You're also a finalist in the 2011 Texaco Country Showdown. Talk about that experience and what that was like to just be a finalist in something like that.
Yeah, that was amazing. It was 2 rounds. And the first round was at a local honky-tonk that we have up in New Jersey called Prospectors, and I was so excited. I was jumping around outside, and I was still nervous too, so I guess it must have just been some nervous energy. But I was so shocked when I won. I did the whole Taylor Swift face, I guess, when they said I was going to the next round. The famous Taylor Swift face. We got it on camera too. But and then the next round, we actually went to the Philadelphia Country Station. They have a huge concert in June called the XTU Anniversary Show. And while we were there, it's a huge venue right on the riverfront outside of Philadelphia. A huge venue called the Susquehanna Bank Center. 30,000 people. Jason Aldean was there, and I was really nervous, and I won that round as well. So, I mean, that definitely called for some celebrating after. And, yeah, it was great. And then we got to go to Pennsylvania, and I got to meet so many great people along that journey in the showdown. So I'm so thankful I had that experience.
Talk about your upcoming performances in Nashville. You got a couple of them, actually. You got one Friday and one Saturday, I believe.
I do.
Talk about those. What are your thoughts heading into those performances?
Well, Friday should be really interesting. It's a place called Two Old Hippies, and if you're in Nashville or Aspen, Colorado, where they have the other location, I highly suggest you go. If you're a guitar geek like I am, you're going to love it. I love everything 60s, and Two Old Hippies is just an amazing store. They have clothes, guitars, mandolin, basses. They have a stage, so it's even a venue as well. And it's one of my favorite places to go and shop. It's like my dream closet, so I can do a lot of damage there. I love that store, and I'm so excited to be performing there for the first time.
Let's talk about being in Nashville a bit here. You're a country singer, obviously. What is that Nashville experience like, and is it very, very? I guess, what do you take away from just being in Nashville? So much. One of the best moves I ever made was moving to Nashville. Probably what I think is one of the most important things about the city is that they have a downtown strip on Broadway. It's just a street with a lot of clubs and a lot of singers and probably some of the best musicians you'll hear in your entire life. And we perform down there once or twice a week, and it's honestly like going to school on how to perform. You walk up and down the street, and there's just musicians, and there's just so much learning involved because there's so many people down here who have the same dream and the same passion, and just being down here and learning from, I guess, your colleagues, your other fellow musicians down here is probably the most amazing thing about Nashville. There really is no other place like it in the whole world. What is the hardest part about being from Nashville? I mean, there's tons of other musicians that are just like you that are trying to make their own way through the city, I guess. So what is the hardest part about being from Nashville? Or in Nashville, excuse me.
Hardest part about being in Nashville? Probably, I'd say the hardest part about being in Nashville is that for the musicians, a lot of people aren't, if they're living in Nashville, when they're out on tour, they're rarely ever in Nashville. So, you might say you live in Nashville, but half the time you're out in, Wisconsin or Florida or Philadelphia. So if you're touring a lot, you're really not in Nashville a whole bunch, and it's really hard because I do miss the city a lot.
What is the coolest thing, I guess, about being in Nashville? What is the ultimate cool thing about being in Nashville?
The ultimate cool thing, it's very humbling. It's very humbling to be surrounded by so many amazing musicians. It's it's a place like no other, and just being able to network music 24/7, people your own age that you can connect with. I've met so many amazing friends being here since January, and I never want to go back.
This is a question off of Twitter from Vanessa in Bellingham, Washington. If you were stranded on a desert island, who are the 3 people you don't want with you?
I don't want with me. Oh, oof. Okay. This is a good one. Vanessa from Washington?
Yeah.
Oh gosh. All right, Vanessa. This is a tough one. People I don't want with me. Okay. This is hard. All right. People I don't want with me. Yeah, someone who snores. So my dad, because or we could probably just throw him off the island though. So.
That's me.
Probably. He's not listening though. Probably my guitarist Stinky Dog, who I'm sitting next to right now, because he is just reeking. He's this little bulldog and he stinks. So not this little thing, because and just know that's my guitarist bulldog. His name's Rocky. So Rocky, he's not coming either. And someone else that I don't want to be there. What's something I really don't like, Joe? This is really hard. Sometimes Joe, I'll say this, sometimes Joe, because Joe gives me homeschool work all the time. So, he'll be like, we're on a desert island, but still you got to do your homework. So I guess Joe sometimes too, because he doubles as my teacher. Sorry, Joe, I still love you though.
That actually leads into my next question, which is, are you homeschooled, or are you attending sort of a public school in Tennessee?
I am homeschooled. We're out on tour a lot, and it makes my life a lot easier. My bass player, she's 16 as well, and she is homeschooled with me. So we kind of do our lessons together, and it's like the partner at school that you always look to. It's like when someone says partner up, and you're like, it's just kind of a known understanding when you see your friend across the room. Okay, we're going to work together. My bass player just happens to be my best friend, so we work on school and music and everything. So yes, I am homeschooled.
Is there times when you miss the genuine school experience that normal students get?
Well, I certainly don't miss having to wake up at 6 because if we're out playing shows till midnight, it's really tough to get on up around 6 o'clock and go to school. It is hard to meet people sometimes because when you're at home for so long, you feel like you're going to want to go out of your mind. But there's so many great networking opportunities down here in Nashville that I get to meet a lot of people my age who have the same passion. So in a way, it's actually better than going to school because everyone who is in the music scene is just as passionate about my passion, I guess.
What is something about yourself that lots of people don't know? Whether it's do you have like an interesting hobby or do you collect stuff? I mean, is there something about you that people don't generally know?
Let's see. I do a really good Stitch voice from that Disney movie Lilo and Stitch.
Can we hear it?
I'm about to embarrass myself. Okay. All right, here we go. Focus.
I'm ready.
Hello.
That's awesome.
My name's Stitch. Yeah, okay. I do a good Stitch voice. Oh, hello,
That's really good. I like that.
Thank you. I should put that on the album.
That's awesome. I guess just getting down to a couple last questions. You got a Kickstarter program campaign going on. Do you want to talk really quickly about it?
Yeah, sure. To raise the final recording costs of my CD, we're trying to raise $3,000 through a Kickstarter campaign, and I mean, my fans have been amazing. So if anyone's out there listening, thank you so much to everyone who has pledged towards the CD. We've had it up for about a day, and we've already received $442 of our goal from when I last saw it. So thank you so much. We're offering some really awesome rewards as a thank you to anyone who funds the project. We have levels from $1 to $1,000, and as a thank you gift, we're offering free single downloads, a free download of the album once it comes out, even a free concert in someone's backyard. So we're offering a really a bunch of cool stuff for people who are supporting us, and the support has been amazing thus far.
I just wanted to get back to actually one question that I should have touched on a little earlier. Do you have an anticipated date release for your upcoming album?
We think it should be done during the summer or towards the end of the summer, but we definitely should have a single released by the time summer starts before we start touring over the summer.
Final question, how do people get a hold of you on social media?
Yes, you guys can keep in touch with me on Twitter at Payton Taylor 129, and that is Payton with an A, not with an E, not like the football player. I get that a lot. It's Payton Taylor 129. My Instagram is the same. I love seeing y'all on Instagram. Facebook is facebook.com/Payton Country. My YouTube is Payton Taylor TV. And if you can't remember all of that, you can just go to PaytonTaylor.com. That's pretty easy, and all the links are listed there.
All right, Payton, thank you very much for coming on the program. Anything else you want to add before I let you go tonight?
Just thank you so much to everyone who's listening, and thank you for having us. Keep in touch. We'd love to talk to you guys once the new project is released, and thanks for taking time out of the show to have me.